Hello, I'm Jeff Power, senior writer with RealTime Fantasy Sports. Welcome to our live stream event of the Champs Draft here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. I'm joined by my son, Henry Power.
Hey.
He is in the league with us in this Champs League. It's always a lot of fun. Logan Glasser, also a contributing writer. He's in the league also. I'm going to bring him up now. We're going to be a three-headed booth here for the league. Should be a lot of fun, right, Logan?
Absolutely. There's a lot of talent in this league. A lot of top players on RT Sports, so I'm excited.
Yeah, so if you aren't familiar, we'll run it down real quick before we start the draft here in a minute or so. But it's all the top-rated players on our site. So we have a top players report. It gives you a ranking of all the best players here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. We invite these players to this league. We've done it. I've done it since I started with the company, I feel like almost 15 years ago. This has been going on a long time. So it's a great league, great owners. And I always feel like it's kind of the kickoff to draft season here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it should be a great draft.
Absolutely. It's a great tool to use as well if you're drafting early, just to know where players are going with these top players, kind of as a tool for an ADP that you can definitely use.
Exactly. It's a great tool. And I'm always anxious to see what everybody does in the certain spots and whatnot. And I'm freezing and legging up here at times, so I apologize for that to everybody out there. But hopefully it starts streaming a little bit better here. But I want to set the board before we get into it. So first pick is Black 23, and then Brad Petri has the second pick. Jeremy Brock has the third pick, Fozzie's team. Richard Mallon, the number one player here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. He's ranked first overall. He'll let you know it as well. He has the fourth pick. Then Mark Mullen, the fifth pick. You Hate Me, the sixth pick. Yours truly, myself, I have the seventh pick. Roger Bauer has the eighth pick. Logan, you have the ninth pick. Thomas Earls, the 10th pick. Ralph Schiavon, the 11th pick. And Henry, you're on the end, 12th pick. You like that?
I do like that.
Yeah, I do. I like that spot too. I think it's better than the middle. So we'll see that's happening here. It looks like we're frozen up here a little bit. I hate to say it. Are you doing okay over there, Logan? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Can you see me? Am I frozen?
You're in and out.
Okay.
You're frozen, but
I don't know what's going on.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's bring up this draft board. Let me give it a minute here. I'm totally frozen. Let me see what's going on here. I apologize to everybody out there. Freezing up here. I might have to shut it down and come back in. I hate to say it. There you go. Now it's moving. I'm still frozen. Yeah. Let's try to refresh it. I'm going to try to refresh the page. Sorry about this, everybody out there. Oh, it's moving now. Okay. Let's just add this to the stream here. Hopefully this does better now moving forward. Okay. This looks better. Sorry. Apologize to everybody out there for the lagging. I don't know what's going on. All right. Let's start the draft. We'll always bet on Black is first. He's going to start. Let's see what he does here with the first pick. Here we go. So do you guys like the first pick? Logan, do you like having the first pick? Any preference or anything?
I'm not in love with it, but I think Jefferson is the guy I'm going to be picking number one overall when I get that option. I think this is the start I would normally do, Jefferson and then McCaffrey. I just think those are your top two players on the board. But I don't love the number one pick, just waiting that long to come back around. But
yeah,
it's always nice getting the top player on the board, though.
Yeah, I don't love it either. Just because, like you said, you have to wait a while to come back around. But we had one go Jefferson, McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, and Austin Eckler. So this is kind of status quo a little bit. I mean, Jamar Chase 3 might be a little earlier than you see him going a lot of drafts, but he's usually a top 5, a top 5, 6 pick. But so nothing too out of the ordinary yet, right?
Yeah, no, nothing too quite big out of the ordinary.
Henry's got his Jamar Chase jersey on. Now we see you're a big Chase fan, right?
Yeah.
Good QB. Okay, Saquon Barkley goes now. He goes with the 5th pick, and then You Hate Me's up, and then I'm up. So let's see what I'm going to have to do here. This is going to be, I don't like this spot right in the middle. I mean, there's so many different ways I could go.
You're up. You can make a
He
pick.
takes Jonathan Taylor. Now I'm up. I mean, I could go a variety of ways here. I don't like this spot at all. Picking right in the middle. Man, you can make a case for several different players here. Henry?
I'm not gonna tell you to pick.
Oh, man.
Better hurry it up, though.
I know. I got 26 seconds. This is tough, guys. This is tough when you're on the air and you're trying to pick. Holy cow. A lot of pressure, guys. A lot of pressure. I'm going to go Josh Jacobs, though. I love his situation. He got a ton of carries last year. I could have gone a couple different receivers as well, in my opinion, but I just think Jacobs is kind of the safe pick at this point. So I'm going with him at this spot. What do you got? What do you think about that?
I got a bad pick. I like him a lot this year, especially with Jimmy G at the quarterback position for them this year. He might dump the ball off a lot around the backfield and might get some good receiving work.
I was encouraged last year with all the work he got. I mean,
Yeah.
he got a ton of carries, and he was a superstar. So I think it's a safe pick in the middle of the draft. Bijan Robinson I was contemplating him as well.
Yeah, I wanted Robinson at 9, but I'll go with Cup at 9.
See, that's what I was thinking as well. I thought about Cup, Robinson, and then one other player hasn't been picked yet. And I think you can't go wrong with any of them. Cup's a good pick, though. He's been falling a little later. You got to remember, this was the first receiver off the board in many drafts last year. So you have high hopes for him, Logan?
For sure. I mean, there's definitely concern with Stafford. I don't think there's any concern with Cup's skill set. It's all about how that offense operates, and if Stafford can get back to being healthy for him.
And also, there's comments you can comment on here if you'd like as well. Some people are making fun of my Jacobs pick already. I appreciate that. But you can comment in here if you have any questions or anything. You can shoot those at me as well. Henry, you're up now. CeeDee Lamb just went. I think that threw you off a little bit because you.
No, I know who I wanted here. I wanted Nick Chubb for sure. I'm happy I got him right there. I kind of decided who I want right here.
Nick Chubb's a good pick, though. I just moved him up a few spots in my draft as well, in my rankings, I should say. I think he's going to have a big season. I don't like the fact he doesn't catch passes, but I think his touchdown totals are going to go up. What's your thoughts on Chubb, Logan?
I like him. I agree. I don't think he's going to be one of the top running backs, but I would put him around number 5 for running backs. I mean, it's a safe option, I would almost feel like. I don't think you're going to get a crazy high ceiling with him, but you're not going to get a low floor.
Henry goes with Tyreek Hill, who I've seen him go, top 7, top 6, but I think he fell a little bit because of his legal woes.
Yeah, I was between him there, and I was also between A.J. Brown, who some coach just took right there. I was debating taking him too. I do like the Hill situation. I know all the legal stuff going on, but hopefully a full, healthy season of Tua should really help his value more.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah. I mean, as long as he's on the field, he's going to be great, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Those are good picks. 2 good picks. You got a foundation there.
I like the Chubb pick. That is my favorite pick. I like him a lot this year because he put up huge numbers again last year, and I had to factor in that there's no Kareem Hunt to steal receiving work out of him, and in PPR format, he's going to get a lot more points.
It's true. It's true. He could be on the field a little more than he has been in the past. Logan's up now. He took Cooper Kupp. Let's see what he does here.
I'm going with Pollard here.
All right. He's going to go Tony Pollard. That's a good.
I think there's a lot of even options currently on the board. I don't think anyone really stood out to me, but out of all the skill sets, I like him the most that's left.
Can't argue that pick. I just looked last year. I was doing the numbers on the red zone numbers, and Ezekiel Elliott was like 4th in red zone carries. So if Pollard gets that now, I mean, his value is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up now. Devontae Adams just got picked. That's who I thought I might be able to steal at that point, but I'm going all in on Garrett Wilson. I think he's going to have a huge year with Aaron Rodgers throwing him passes.
Yeah, I like that.
Back up my Jacobs pick with Garrett Wilson. Not too exciting of a draft so far for me, but I'll take it.
2 solid foundation foundation picks, I like the Garrett Wilson pick. I think he's poised for a great year this year. Rodgers throwing the ball. We saw that he showed lots of talent last year with Zach Wilson and Mike White all throwing him the football. So I like to see a lot more of that played this year with him.
Yeah, I feel a lot better about Wilson because of the situation at QB. Aaron Rodgers, huge upgrade. We've seen what he's done in the past with his number one receivers. So I'm excited about that as well. Derrick Henry goes after that, and then Najee Harris, who was a disappointment last year, but I like him for a rebound.
I like him this year for a rebound. Big reasons was Steelers really upgraded on that offensive line, which is a big downfall of Najee last year. And they also have to factor in that Kenny should have a good second year. They added Allen Robinson. I know it was disappointing last year, but that offense should be a lot better in general this year.
I agree. I think that offensive line should be a big boost for Najee Harris as well. So looking for him to have a rebound season. He has Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris start his draft, Mark Mullen's team. That's a pretty solid group of running backs there. It's always interesting to see the strategies. Right now we have two teams that each took receiver with their first two picks. You have Jeremy Brock does that, and then Ralph Sheavon. Both of them took receivers, Lamb and A.J. Brown. Great foundation for Ralph. Jeremy has Chase and Olave. I like Olave a lot this year as well. So two different ways to approach it. And then Thomas Earls has Kelsey and Diggs, so he went tight end receiver. So a couple teams without a running back so far.
Yeah, and you're going to see that in more as of last year. The running back situations were all up and down of everything last year, and the receivers were the most consistent thing you could get with your team.
I agree. I have mixed feelings on it though. I've done a lot of drafts here. I don't know about you, Logan, but I just feel like the value at receiver is really good. And the later 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, I think you can still get some really good receivers. So I still have a hard time, going for that receiver early. But
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think we've seen in the last couple of years receivers going earlier than in prior years. I think maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, it used to be running back heavy in the first 2 rounds. But really in the last 2 years, we've seen wide receivers creep up on the board and being taken a lot more common in the first 2 rounds.
Yep. It's not the drafts of old, definitely. But there's so many different ways to approach it. And we've done the numbers as well, where we can look to see who won their league, taking a receiver first or running back first. And it usually bears out pretty similar. So I don't think there's a strategy that is the end all be all when it comes to drafts. I think you can win numerous different ways. And a lot of these people have shown this as well.
For sure. And Jeff, I know that you've done a lot of drafts already this year with Colton and the Wolfman, but this is my first one. So I'm kind of just like taking it all in. I mean, I've looked at probably 100 plus drafts based off of just going to the recent tab, looking through drafts on RT Sports, monitoring them. But actually being in a live draft, there's a lot to take in on your first draft of the year.
I agree. And it's tough when you do it with these owners. Yeah, I've done a ton of drafts with Colton and the Wolfman so far. I mean, 10 plus drafts. So it's been a lot of fun. Done some for some magazines as well. So I've been in my fair share, but it's always different when you get these players who are, they have skin in the game. That's why I like doing these drafts, because these are guys that put the money on the line and, put up or shut up. So it's always fun drafting with this group of owners because they do things a little differently than, some of the other ones I've been in. So it's always interesting to see. And I like you mentioned earlier at the top, it's a great tool for fantasy owners out there to see what these guys are doing and, to see how they're drafting when to help, form your strategy.
Mm-hmm.
My picks up now, guys are, I don't know, Jahmyr Gibbs just went, Breece Hall, 2 straight running backs. Man, I got a couple different ways I could go here. I do not like the spot I'm in right now. These owners always doing a great job making it tough on me here. I'm thinking running back with this pick. Got a couple different guys I could go with. I think I'm going to go with the safe option, in my opinion. Guy who's not going to battle for carries compared to some of these other guys that I'm thinking about taking. I'm going to take Miles Sanders with Carolina. Might have been a tad early for him, but he has less competition, in my opinion. Henry does not like that pick.
No, I wanted him.
Oh, you wanted Miles Sanders. Okay, I apologize. That's good. At least somebody wanted him.
You gotta think he should have a big year, especially if no one to compete with. I guess Chuba Hubbard, but rookie quarterback, they're probably gonna run the ball a lot in that offense, and they signed a pretty big deal, so you had to think that they're going to use him.
Yeah, my thought process was I think some of the other guys around him might have a higher ceiling, but I'm playing it a little safer because of my other two picks, picking in the middle there. So unfortunately, I played it safe with that pick, but sometimes you got to do that. All right, Logan, you just took Josh Allen. You took him in the third round, so you got a QB, running back, and receiver. What was your thought process?
I'm not in love with taking Josh Allen this early, but in this specific type of league format, I'm fine with it just because it's a small roster size. Because I mean, you're looking at basically 7 starters and along with a kicker and defense to make up your roster. And some bigger leagues where you have 3 wide receivers, maybe a different couple flex spots, I probably wouldn't take Josh Allen this early. But just based off of the roster format, with it being a smaller roster, I wanted to get him.
I think it makes sense with the format to go earlier on those elite options if you have to at that QB position. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, if you have a bigger starting lineup, I like fading the quarterbacks, but with it being a small starting lineup, I'm perfectly fine with going quarterback early.
Yep. No problem with that. Henry, your pick's coming up here too. Yep. You feeling good at this point? Are you worried?
I do like the things that are on the board for me right here. I also do like the last pick that was just made of Aaron Jones. I think he's going to have a great year with Green Bay. With Aaron Rodgers gone, Jordan Love's probably going to dump the ball off a lot. He's that receiving back in that offense. He's going to get a lot of catches, and I see him also being a great impact on the run game. I know A.J. Dillon's there, but Aaron Jones, I think, could have a huge year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I always worry about him fading out at some point, but he just keeps chugging along. And you worry about A.J. Dillon as well, but he hasn't really taken much of the load at that point. So, Henry, you're up now. Jalen Hurts just went. So we had 3 QBs going this round. That's a little surprising to me. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised too. Again, that QB position won so many different leagues last year. We just saw some absolute monstrous numbers from quarterbacks last year. So it makes sense.
Henry went Dameon Pierce. I actually thought about him. That was one of the guys I was thinking about with my pick. I think his ceiling is higher than Miles Sanders, in my opinion. But I just worry about the situation with Devin Singletary there. Maybe he jumps up, takes a couple his carries. But I think that's a good pick, Henry, at the end of the third round. It's a good spot to take him. So he's contemplating this next pick. He doesn't know what to do.
I don't. I have 2 guys in debate in between. I'm just going to take him.
Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. Like him in that offense?
Yeah, I do. Sam Howell being the starter. He threw to him a lot at the end of the season last year. I think he caught a touchdown too. I do feel like Jahan Dotson, though, will probably take a step up in that offense, but I do think he should be a surefire thing for Sam Howell to throw to in that offense.
I mean, Eric Bieniemy takes over as offensive coordinator. That's a huge plus, in my opinion. It just comes down to Sam Howell. How good is he going to be? Mm-hmm. If he's good, McLaurin could be a great pick.
He could be,
Could be a really good pick. He had a pretty good foundation there, Henry. 2 running backs, 2 receivers. So should be good times. Okay, somebody likes my team better than yours, Henry. That's great.
Yeah, I think I know who that is.
Hey, at least I got one fan. Everybody else is dissing me so far, so that's good. Travis Etienne just went. That's another guy I thought about taking. I just don't know what to think about him this year with Bigsby there. I love Etienne's ability.
I just worried about the goal line carries. I feel like Bigsby could take away from that in that offense.
Agreed. That's my only concern. Mixon, too. That's another guy I thought about taking. I just, there's all stories about him. They talked about cutting him in the offseason.
Yeah, but now there's no one to compete with you, I think about it.
That's true.
Because
Samaje's
with Denver, I think, who I would take away a lot from Javonte Williams, which I don't know what they're doing there, because that guy's extremely talented. He did tear his ACL last year.
Downfall. Yeah, I agree. Logan's up now. He's got every position covered. Let's see if you think he's going to go tight end.
Yeah, I was debating between Walker and Dobbins. I ended up going with Walker.
See, I like Walker too. That's another guy. I really think his ceiling's super high. He could be so good, but Charbonnet pick scares me a little bit.
He does scare me a lot with.
I don't know why they made that pick in the first place. And if you want a backup running back, you can probably wait a couple rounds, take him in the second round after you got a guy that put up 1,000-yard season his rookie year.
Yep. My pick's up now. I got Jacobs, Sanders, Garrett Wilson. Got a couple different ways I could go here. I'm going to go ahead and take – Henry's looking at my – All right, I'm going for a big rebound season from Debo. I think he's going to have a big year. Injured last year. As long as Brock Purdy's there, I feel good about him. As long as he's good there for the beginning of the year, I think he'll be good. But a little bit of a risky pick. A little risk.
Yeah, a little bit. And there's other people on the board, though, as you speak, though, wide receiver position. Someone like Amari Cooper. And I know I shouldn't really talk about this, but yeah.
It's fine.
I'm not going to get him anyway.
That was my other choice. Was it Amari Cooper or Debo?
I can talk about him, though. I feel like he is going to have a huge year. Watson, I feel like took him a couple weeks to finally get adjusted to a new offense, and he hasn't played in a year or two. But if he can go back to his former self and his former glory, Amari Cooper could have a huge year.
Yeah, I agree. What's your thoughts on Cooper, Logan?
Yeah, I like him as well. I completely agree with that. He's the obvious number one option in that offense. I think the offense is also going to be better this year with Watson having a year under his belt there. And he's going to be there from the start of the year.
So you got a couple guys doing the old school approach in the middle of the draft. Mark Mullen and You Hate Me both went 3 running backs to start. Then You Hate Me got Cooper's as number 1. I mean, that's solid in the 4th round. And then he got TJ, and then Mark got TJ Hawkinson. Does not have a receiver yet, so he went tight end before receiver. Interesting strategy.
Well, I think Hawkinson's a great pick. I was debating about him a while back in the 4th round. I just feel like he played great when he was traded to Minnesota at the end of the year, and there's no Thielen now. I know Jordan Addison was added. But Cousins liked to throw to the tight end. He had huge games where he had like 9 catches for 80 yards or something. He could have a huge year. I mean, he got a lot of work in that offense.
So we have Jeremy takes Alexander Madison with another quarterback off the board. Joe Burrow, Richard Mallon took him. Then Alexander Madison, J.K. Dobbins. So it's interesting to me because I feel like the zero running back theory, I know sometimes they go later, but when you can get guys like Madison, Dobbins, Rashad White in the 4th round, I mean, that's pretty good value in my opinion. If you want to wait on those running backs, I mean, I think any of those guys could have huge seasons.
Where would you be selecting Madison? Do you think that's a fair place to take him?
That's a great question, Logan. I have my concerns. He's been up and down at times when he started, so I'm not completely sold on him just being a force, but he's in a great offense, should get the goal line carries, so that's going to give him value for sure. Yeah. I'd select him more maybe probably the 5th, 6th round range, but I think you can definitely make an argument for him.
The volume's there for him for sure this year. Definitely.
So let's reset a little bit. We had 2 more QBs off the board, so we have 6. Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields go at the top of the 5th round. Burrow was taken last round. Mahomes, Allen, and Hurts as well. So QB's flying off a little bit. Surprises me a little bit.
I mean, Logan was right earlier when he talked about the slim roster sizes. A QB could put together a huge point in a small roster format, and it could be nice to have one of those top guys.
Definitely. But once those top guys go, I mean, you might as well, you can wait a little bit if there's not anybody else you really are in love with out there. My pick's 1 pick away here. Let's see. Let's start prepping myself here so I don't do anything foolish. I have 2 receivers, 2 running backs, good fellows. DJ Moore just went. He's another guy that's fallen a little bit. I feel like I see him in this 5th, 6th round range a lot. And I think that's really good value for guys who can be number 1 receiver, moves to a better situation, in my opinion. I think he could have a really good season. So I like that pick there by Krusty. Let's look at Goodfellas. Is going to make his pick. He's getting close on time. He might go receiver there again. Drake London, that's a solid pick as well. So he gets a number one receiver in that offense. I'm up now with my pick. Just from a volume standpoint, this is another situation where I think he's in a good spot to get a lot of work. And so I'm going to take James Conner with this pick. Gives me three decent running backs, all with not many question marks when it comes to their workload. So feel pretty good about my running back spot. Nobody is going to blow anybody away, but I think I got a decent group there. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that group. What was it? Sanders, Jacobs, and James Conner. It's a solid group.
Yeah.
I worry about James Conner, though. I just worry about the Arizona offense, though, in general, the first couple of weeks without Kyler Murray. It could be difficult for them to get down the field. I don't even know who their backup is, but it could be a struggle for Conner the first couple of weeks.
So we had Javonte Williams go now. Logan, you took him. Give me your thoughts on him.
He might
Concerns?
Might not be ready by week 1, but championships aren't won in week 1. So
we had Justin Herbert go after that. Henry, you're getting close to pick again.
Yep.
Ralph's up. He's getting ready to pick. I'll be honest with you. Looking at these teams, I think the team that stands out to me right now, you got like Brad Petrie there in the second spot. Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, J.K. Dobbins, Justin Fields. That's a pretty good start there. Like his roster.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite teams.
Anybody else stand out to you so far, Logan?
Let's look through them.
I think Richard Mallon's done well as also. He got Austin Eckler with his fourth pick, number one in scoring last year for the running back spot. He's got a good QB in Burrow, two good receivers. Swift's a little bit of a concern for me. Love his potential, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he works in that offense. Because you would think he would thrive in that Detroit offense, but just did not get the use.
Henry just took George Kittle. He got his tight end. So he's got most of his starting lineup there outside of his flex and QB. So he went with Kittle. I like Kittle a lot. If Brock Purdy's there, kind of same situation with Debo. I need Purdy in there personally for San Francisco's offense. I do not like Trey Lance at all. Although I saw that report where they said that Sam Darnold might be ahead of Lance right now, which I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it kind of surprised me.
Yeah, definitely. Who are you going with your second pick there, Henry?
You'll see.
You'll see. He made Christian Watson going with the number one receiver from Green Bay.
Yes, I really like him. Especially, I feel like Jordan Love, when he was in the game, I think he played a couple drives against Philadelphia where he drove down the field pretty quickly. I think he could be great in that offense. And Christian Watson, number one in that offense, could have a huge year.
Yeah, you get good looking receiver room there, Henry. And it was probably a smart move getting Watson there, getting your third receiver with a Hill, maybe possible question mark. So it's a good move on your part doing that. I think as soon as let's see. I might try to see if anybody wants to join us here and get their thoughts on their draft so far. So I'm going to invite some people here, see if anybody wants to join us. So I'm going to. Let's see. Ralph just picked Cam Akers. Another guy with some question marks. So definitely a high upside, though. Logan, you're coming up here. Henry, Cam Akers, what are you thinking?
I like him this year, especially that offense now being fully healthy. Especially, so you have Stafford and Kupp returning. And Cam Akers, when he was finally back from the Achilles at the end of the year, he was unbelievable. There were some weeks he put up huge numbers. And now when you're in a fully healthy offense, you're going to move down the field more, means more touchdowns possibly. I think he got a huge year. Yeah,
so Ralph waited on running back, got two guys with high ceilings in ETN and Akers. So
he also has Jalen Hurts too, and he's got Lamb Brown. That's a really nice team right there.
Michael Pittman too, another guy, 5th round. I think that's great value at that point. So I really like that point of the draft, getting him. Jerry Jeudy's another guy. I feel like he's kind of a make or break pick. High upside, definitely a lot of potential. I don't know if I trust him. Do you trust him?
What are we talking about?
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy
just
went. I just worry about Russell Wilson. I know they added Sean Payton, who could actually help that team, but I don't know. Russell Wilson was terrible That was hard to be that bad, in my opinion.
If
Offense,
you click on Judy and look at his stats from last year, I mean, he had some really good games if
He
you
did.
look back on it. I mean, last year I didn't think he stood out, but looking back on his stats, I
My
mean,
pick's up here. Sorry, I'm slacking here. I'm going to go with Christian Kirk. I know Calvin Ridley's there, but Kirk had a great first season in Jacksonville. I still think he's going to have a huge year. I'm just trying to get some more depth.
yeah, it seemed like he was actually worth the money. We all kind of questioned their move before on the offseason when they paid him $25 million a year, but I guess it paid off. He had a huge year last year. I also am worried about another pick they went, Dalvin Cook. He's still a free agent. I just don't know where he's going to go. I mean, Miami was an option, but then I worried at that backfield. There's so many people in it. It's kind of hard to. I know it's Dalvin Cook, but they also drafted a chain, and then they have Jeff Wilson and Mostert. They have a lot of running backs in that offense.
It's boomer bust pick, definitely. You can't blame a guy for taking him at that spot, though, because it could really. I mean, if he lands in Miami and starts getting all the work, that's
That
going
offense would be really good too.
Exactly. All right, Goodfellas went 3 straight receivers after taking 3 straight running backs. Again, another team with a good build, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Taylor, Henry, Gibbs, Cooper, London, Godwin. There goes Trevor Lawrence. I was hoping to get him. I actually thought about taking him over Christian Kirk, another Jaguar. Didn't do it, though. I may regret that.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I do worry about not Trevor Lawrence, but Chris Godwin. I mean, that Bucks offense might be extremely awful this year. I mean, there's some clips. I know it's only not even training camp basically, but Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, they did not look the part
No,
at all.
I agree. Could be a long season in Tampa. Any interesting picks you see out there, Logan? David Montgomery just goes now. So Malin got the backfield of the Lions last year, Swift and Montgomery. I like Montgomery. You look at what Jamal Williams did, had a huge year as that goal line back for Detroit. So
now there's nothing really holding him back except for Gibbs, though, you have to worry about. I feel like he's even more of the receiving back, though, in that offense. He might play a little bit of receiver in general, though, too. I think Montgomery can be a good year. I also really like the Swift pick earlier. I know you had thoughts on that, little question marks, but I mean, Philadelphia runs the ball, and he could get a lot of work.
I know, it's true.
Stays healthy. That's the big.
I think Swift should thrive out of the backfield with catches, which is why I was confused on how he was used with that Detroit offense. I thought that was set up perfectly for him.
I agree with that. I don't think he was used correctly. That's a great point, Logan. And ironically, last year, I just did this red zone story, so that's why it's in my head. But Philadelphia had 2 top 5 red zone carry players. It was Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders. Both were in the top 5 in red zone carries. So 2 different players. I mean, that's an explosive offense. I think it bodes well for Swift or Rashad Penny, whoever's getting the load there in Philadelphia.
Yeah. A concern with Philadelphia is that they're going to be a dominant team this year, and they're going to probably be playing with a lead at the end of games, which is probably going to hurt Swift's value with receptions. I think it's a little bit of a concern just because they're going to be running the ball on the ground more. But if he gets an uptick in carries, he definitely can have a lot of value.
Definitely. So we are in round 7 now, moving along quickly here. Draft's about a half hour old. So look here. I'm looking at the board here, trying to see some roster builds here. Jeremy went 3 straight receivers, and then he took Madison, then Ridley, and then Pacheco. So he went with Madison and Pacheco as his top 2 backs. Man, his receivers are really good. T. Higgins and Calvin Ridley to go with Olave and Chase. It's an impressive build there. Jeremy has a history, if I'm not mistaken, of going receiver heavy early. So not a surprise that he did that. He always builds good teams as well. You and Henry have kind of filled out your lineups. I only have running backs and receivers at this point, so I might be looking at a couple other positions. Some other teams around me, the You Hate Me team did this the exact same build as me so far with 3 running backs, 3 receivers. I'm kind of anxious to see what he does. My picks coming up here.
I'm kind of full on my positions right now, except wide receiver. Probably my next 3 or 4 picks are going to be wide receivers. I kind of like that build. honestly.
Yeah.
A couple of running backs, fill out your roster, and then load up on wide receivers.
My pick's up now. Deshaun Watson just went. So at this point, Henry and I are the only ones without a QB. What are you gonna do there, Henry? Are you gonna? Can I wait on a QB? Or you?
I don't know. Should you? I already have made up who I kind of want, but I'm not saying anything.
I got an idea what I want to do, but I'm just gonna. I actually thought about Watson and this other guy, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take the other guy I was considering.
Turnover machine.
I'm taking turnover machine Dak Prescott, as Henry just said. He's my QB. Going with Dak.
I guess I'm the only one, so I can kind of.
Were you going to take Dak? That's the question.
No, I was not.
Oh, man, I should have waited. Come on.
I mean, I'm thinking about taking one, but it wasn't going to be him.
I like Dak. I mean, Mike McCarthy's calling plays now. I think that's a positive. Been kind of a mess the last couple years after I can't remember who's our offensive coordinator. I'm blanking. Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I remember that guy's name. Where'd he go? He went to the Chargers, didn't he?
Yeah. What's his name? Logan? I'm blanking. Who? The offensive coordinator that was with Dallas. Oh, Jason. Oh my gosh. Anyone.
We will not be seeing a Michael Thomas pick.
I can't.
I'll promise you that.
Whatever the offensive coordinator was with Dallas kind of flamed out the last few years, and he's resetting with the Chargers now. But I think it's a positive for Prescott and the Cowboys offense. McCarthy's there. Henry's up now. Darren Waller just went. So, Henry, you could technically, if you really wanted to wait on a QB, since everybody has one.
But first,
someone suggested that in the draft.
I'm going to take this guy to start. I want a third running back.
A.J. Dillon. You really like Green Bay going all in, huh?
Yeah, I like them a lot this year. I don't know another. Would I take my QB now? Or should I wait? I'll wait one more round. I'll take this guy.
All right, Henry, who was your other pick?
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Oh, there you go. Going all in on the rookie.
Yeah, I like him a lot this year. They should use him in the slot a good amount. So he should get used a good amount this year. And that offense was already really good last year, and you got a playmaker like him do it. Could really help.
Kellen Moore, that was it. Why was I blanking on that? Thank you to Goodfellas in the chat for telling me Kellen Moore. Holy cow. Oh, man. Let's see. Then Deontay Johnson went. All right. Let's see. Let's look at no one's joining. I put it out there. If anybody wants to join from our draft, they want to come on here and talk with us, they're free to do it if they would like. So we had a couple rookies go this round. Now Jordan Addison goes to Logan. So you guys both took rookies. Which one's going to be better?
I mean, that's a close call. I almost took Addison. I was debating between those two as their receiver picks. They're both close calls.
Yeah, I think JSN has more talent. Addison might be in a better position with the offense, but I think both will be pretty even.
My pick's up now.
The pick before you, the Alvin Kamara pick. I mean, he didn't play the best last year, but now you have to factor in that we don't know if he's going to get suspended or not still. So there's a chance that he plays and maybe he plays better than he did with Derek Carr now on the offense, or he's suspended after the year. So that's a very up or down pick right there.
I agree. It's a tough pick. I'm actually going to go with his teammate. I'm going with Jamal Williams. Like you just mentioned, Alvin Kamara might not play, could be suspended, released, whatever. Jamal Williams had a huge season last year. He's my fourth running back, so I think it's good value at that point. I'm going to go ahead and go with that as my fourth running back. So I don't have a tight end yet. That's one of my positions. Richard Bauer doesn't either. A couple teams don't have tight ends yet. I'll be honest with you, at this point, looking at the tight end position, no one really stands out. I think it's kind of similar. So I'm good with waiting on that a little bit longer. Hopefully, it doesn't burn me. Evan Ingram just went. That was one guy I considered as well, tight end. He could have a huge season.
Mhm.
He has a little more to compete with for targets with Calvin Ridley there, but Jacksonville's offense looking pretty good.
I like Jacksonville a lot. I mean, they showed what they can do last year, especially Trevor Lawrence. He really showed that he can be a superstar quarterback. I feel like he also did. I want to talk about this, about the division. That division in a couple of years could be amazing with all the QB talent they now have.
Definitely.
Do you think Jacksonville's a lock to win their division? Because I don't see anyone beating them in their division.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
They pretty much are. Those other guys, they all have their rookie QBs that still have to develop, so they're going to be tough to.
Exactly. For a
Jacksonville.
sports betting perspective, they're sitting at minus 160, which might be a good bet because I feel like
I think their defense is a little underrated too. It gets overlooked, but they got some talent on that side of the ball.
A lot
yeah,
of young players too.
Yeah.
number 2 team odds wise is Tennessee, which I do not see them.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. No.
I could see them finishing almost last. I don't know what's going to happen to QB.
I don't know how he does it, but he always has that team ready to play, their coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like the Texans are on a rebound for a season, though, this year after adding Will Anderson and CJ Stroud.
Yep.
I mean, those are two huge pickups for that team.
Yeah.
They're going to be the future of that team.
Very true.
All right, we have Samaje Perine going, Mike Evans. Mike Evans, another. It's crazy to me these Tampa Bay receivers really falling. You know, Godwin fell.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike Evans.
it's just that QB situation. You really downfall when you lose Tom Brady and you got to go to a Baker Mayfield.
That's a little bit of a downgrade. That's a good call. Holy cow. Yeah, Tampa Bay.
You're getting suggestions in the chat right now.
All right, what's it saying? Someone needs to get Irv Smith off the board if they need a tight end. There you go. I do like Irv Smith. That's Logan's guy. He takes Irv
That's
Smith.
my guy.
We can't be talking about
That's
this.
3 years.
Someone's going to take him now and snipe you, Logan. He's an Irv Smith believer.
Might have to take him here in round 9 just for the brand.
It's a good call. Devin, a chain went again.
He
round
seems to
9.
go earlier, doesn't he? He's probably fallen off because they released Cook, so there's a chance he signs there, and they were talking about it earlier about signing him too.
It'll be interesting to me. A lot of these guys that just went, I think their values will change as we get closer to the season. We have a better idea. So Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert, Samaje Perine, Rashad Penny, Devin Achane, all those guys, I think they could move up a lot or move down a lot.
I feel like Khalil Herbert is the one I don't like a lot. I feel like Donta Foreman, he had a lot of talent last year when he was with Carolina, and they signed him to a decently big deal for a running back at least. They're going to use him probably a good amount, and hopefully he can.
Talking about another player that hasn't been picked yet, Henry. You're going to get these people.
He'll go before I'm up anyway.
That's true, though. I don't know what's going to happen there. Again, like I said, I think a lot of these positions, the value of these people are going to change as we get closer.
Mallon. Got my handcuff.
There you go. He's gone. Richard Mallon got you, Logan. Your handcuff's gone.
It's okay. He didn't take Irv Smith.
Oh, I got to pay attention to what I'm going to do with my pick here before I.
You've been paying attention a lot.
I haven't.
You finished dead last like I did last year.
Thought you weren't going to talk about that.
This wasn't the best season.
I think everything that could have possibly gone wrong for your team last year went wrong, Henry.
Yeah.
As you can see by his logo, everybody, he has a dumpster fire on his logo. A literal dumpster fire.
That's what it was last year.
Brandon Cooks goes. So Mark Mullen waited on receiver, got DJ Moore, George Pickens, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks. So he's got some guys with some definite upside. So I think when you start only 2 receivers, that's when a lot of times some people wait on them as well. So
interesting. Took a tight end. Right there.
Yeah, Goodfellas is trying to stick it to us, Logan, me and you. I'm up now. Yeah. Man,
don't do it.
Tough call here.
I know what you're thinking. Don't do it.
What am I thinking?
I know what you're thinking. Actually, you're not gonna take it. Never mind. Fine. I know you're gonna take.
I don't know what I want to do.
We got 20 seconds.
I know.
Let's start counting down for you.
Yeah. I hate to do this.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't.
Wow.
I know. I'm taking a second.
What are you trying to do to me here?
I don't love my QB situation with Dak Prescott, so I'm going to go ahead and platoon Prescott and Jones all season. I'm excited for Jones, second year in that offense, so I'm going to go a little outside the box.
QB this next one just to get him.
I just when I wait on a QB like that, I like to stack them up a little bit. You know, I was the last person to take a QB, so besides you, Logan took Donta Foreman, your pick, Henry.
I gave him the idea.
Take Irv Smith now.
I kid, we're fine.
We're fine.
That's out with my.
I like the Donta Smith though. Donta Foreman pick this late in the draft,
Smith.
round 9. I mean, fourth running
this
back.
late, getting a starter.
Definitely. Solid pick. Let's see here. Henry, you're coming up. Quentin Johnston goes, another rookie. So that is 3 rookie receivers
LA
in the last
loves
2
their
rounds.
big receivers that can get injured easily.
So you think he's going to get hurt?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Elijah Mitchell.
Oh, come on.
Is that who you're going to take?
I'll take my QB now, though. It loads.
Henry's going with the concussion protocol. Tua.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Fozzie doesn't have a QB either. Someone just pointed that out.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Good thing I did.
Tua definitely high ceiling.
I also I took Hill earlier. That was my thinking there.
I got you. So you got the stack there.
Yeah, that's my goal.
That's not exactly Tua doesn't launch it down the field. He'll just throw it 10 yards to him.
And then he runs it.
And then he runs it the rest of the way. What are you thinking here with your second pick?
I'm just making sure the bye weeks work out.
You only have 3 running backs, Henry, at this point. You need a little more depth there. Is that what you're doing?
No.
Odell Beckham.
No Jordan Love. I think I have a Packers fan in the chat.
Yeah, we do have a Packers fan in the chat.
He said they're going to win the Super Bowl earlier, too.
He's one of the few believers. Logan, your pick's coming up again here.
Yeah.
You took Kyle Pitts earlier. I didn't talk about that. So tell me, round 6, Kyle Pitts, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, he was the best tight end on the board. Again, with these smaller rosters, I wanted to fill up with the top player at that position early on. I think that was important with QB and tight end. I'm going to go with my second Arizona Cardinal wide receiver, which is a little risky, but I really like him, and Rondell Moore here.
I actually thought about Moore with my last pick. I like that pick. I mean, somebody's got to catch passes there, and those guys, the Brown and Moore, could really rack up the targets.
I mean, when Moore was healthy last year, he looked great.
Yep.
I'm looking at his last couple of games. You're looking at 8 targets, 10, 13, putting up 23 fantasy points, 15, 18.5. He was really solid for them. The health is the big concern with him.
So my pick's up now. Rookie tight ends never do well in the NFL, so I'm going to take a rookie tight end, Dalton Kincaid.
As your starter, too.
That's my starter.
Really going to go well. They should listen to the chat and taking that different guy named Irv Smith.
Irv Smith, I should have taken him, but I'm caught up in the Kincaid hype. I'm sorry. I love that offense. Is he going to boom, be a bust some weeks? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they also still have Dawson Knox, which is a worrisome a little bit.
Kincaid's you look at the target share outside of Stephon Diggs, and it's there to be had.
They might honestly play him more as a wide receiver, too. You have to think of who they have.
Yep.
So he could get a good amount of work still.
Red zone touches as well. I'm not going to reveal.
Allen loves to throw the tight end in the red zone.
And I feel like there's a lot of tight ends, too, later in the draft that have some potential to do well. So I think it's good. It's fine to take a little bit of a chance there if you want to go for a boom or bust pick at this point. Alan Lazard goes. That might be as high as I've seen him go in a draft. You Hate Me took him. He waited on receiver, though, and I still think he did pretty well. I mean, Cooper and London as his starters and Godwin as his third.
Yeah. And then he took the Evan Ingram as his tight end too, which is also a good pick.
He always does a good job, though. I think that's John. I won't say his last name because I'll butcher it, but he always does a good job drafting.
I would think Michael Thomas, that might be an automatic loss. I mean, to be completely honest.
You never know with Michael Thomas.
He's either gonna play. He's gonna play 2 weeks, injure himself, come back in a week, and injure himself. Then he's done for the year.
It's good call. Never know. I'm just putting this out here, see if anybody wants to come on here and talk about their team with us. Anybody wants to join our stream here? Anybody got any questions there watching? We got some people watching this.
Apparently, gonna have 15 people on the IR by week 3. It's fun.
Who is? You are?
Apparently. I guess looking at it, yeah, they're not wrong.
You got a lot of injury-prone players.
Beckham, Kittle, Tua, Tyreek. This could be done by week 2. Hell, I'd hope last year I'll do it again. Now, who just took Jameson Williams? I like that pick a lot, too.
Yeah, Richard Mallon took him.
I know it sucks that he's suspended the 6 weeks. I love Jameson Williams. He's a great player, lots of talent. And they were even talking about that he's shown lots more in camp. He's going to get a lot more work in that offense. He could be amazing this year.
I mean, in this format, you only start 2 receivers. You have 1 flex. So after you get 3 receivers or 4 receivers, you can start taking some chances. And so taking a chance on a guy like Williams, even Michael Thomas, I know he's got all sorts of issues.
Week 1.
Yeah, but I think it's okay to take a chance on him. What do you think, Logan?
I like it. I think absolutely. I think if you have a larger roster, then you want more of a safer play. But with these small rosters, for your bench, absolutely, you take those home run plays.
Yeah, why not? Why not? We're over halfway done with this draft. Anthony Richardson, Jeremy Brock, Fozzie.
That is starting QB.
That's his starting QB. Interesting.
Now, I do love Anthony Richardson, but I would almost get him more as a backup because there's a chance he's not starting even week 1. I do think he'll start at some point this year, but it's a little worrisome, but he could have it. The rushing upside's there.
I agree. The rushing potential makes him super, super attractive from a fantasy perspective. What's your thoughts on Richardson, Logan?
His potential's high. It's always with fantasy quarterbacks. If you can get a rushing quarterback, that's where the points are had. I don't think he's going to be stellar like NFL wise, but fantasy wise, he's got tons of potential.
Oh, my pick's up. I'm not even paying attention. Oh, my gosh, Henry. All right, let's see what I want to do here. I'm not going to be the first person to take a kicker at defense. I'll tell you that right now.
I was just wondering, when do we start taking those?
All right, we'll find out soon, I guess.
I'll go with the flow.
I might actually.
You gonna take him, or you gonna put him in your queue instead?
I put him in somebody else's queue by accident. Because I'm going to take my backup tight end.
Even your starter.
Because I don't like my starter has some concerns, so I'm going to go ahead and just go back.
Thought he was going to be a surefire, great tight end. Concerns now.
Well, when I wait, I like to do this. When I wait on QB and tight end, I like to back them up quickly and then just end up platooning them. It's kind of a strategy I use a lot, and I feel like it works. So,
running backs now.
I will say I wish I would not have taken Jones in round 9, personally, because I feel like there's a couple guys that I could have taken here in round 11 that I would have been more than comfortable with. So I regret that.
Yeah, there is a couple QBs left. I'm not going to announce them. I have a couple picks already.
Logan, you just took Adam Thielen. So, again, I just did that red zone story. But he was in the top 10 in red zone targets. Can you believe that? And he only had 4 touchdowns last year.
Top 5. No.
It is hard to imagine that with Jefferson in that offense.
Yeah. But someone's got to catch passes for Carolina. Thielen definitely could get the target share. And again, at that point of the draft, go for it.
That also makes like Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson had more value of how many red zone targets Thielen had. If you can imagine how many more of those guys
That's
would be.
very true.
Fair point. Fair point. Someone else made a fair point too, saying drafting Richardson now doesn't make him the starter for Fozzie. That's very true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very true. There's definitely guys out there, so like you mentioned, that could definitely be starting. Henry's up now. Rashad Bateman just went. Guy, he's been a little polarizing the last few years. Everybody had high hopes for him. Hasn't really panned out. Ralph gets him as his fifth receiver. Henry took Kareem Hunt and Kenneth Gainwell. What with Gainwell?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he still is going to get work in that offense. I mean, he was involved a lot last year if Miles Sanders there. I mean,
they use 3 running backs a lot. That's okay.
And then Kareem Hunt, I know he's on a team, but someone's going to sign him at some point. He'll be used. I mean, he still has a lot of potential. I mean, it's been a couple of years, but when he was with Kansas City, he was amazing. And then in Cleveland, he was still a good value with him there.
Yeah, I'm fine with taking a chance on Hunt at that point. It's okay. I got a couple other guys I'm eyeing here. Logan, your pick's coming up here in a second.
Yeah, I'm debating a defense or not. When to do it.
I mean, we're getting to the point now where it's definitely acceptable.
The question is, which defense do you go?
That's another good question. And I'm not going to tell you.
Do you go with the Jags, who's going to have a terrible division, so you get all those games twice against rookie quarterbacks?
True.
But they're not the best defense, so why not?
Zay Flowers just go, another rookie receiver at Baltimore. So we had a couple of Baltimore players go recently. Cole Kmet goes. That was the other guy I was debating with Higbee. So Roger Bauer kind of did what I did, took 2 tight ends close together, and he might end up platooning those guys. I liked Chigakonku a lot, though. I would have liked him more than Kincaid. My pick is up now. Let's see what I want to do here. I get lost in my lost here in what I want to do when I'm paying attention to everybody else. I might take a chance on this guy just because if he re-signs with them, he could get the goal line work again. So I'm taking a chance on Zeke. Why not?
Do you think he's going to resign with the Cowboys?
I think it's his best. I think it makes the most sense for him to do that. Whether or not they do it,
and I don't really know where else. A lot of these running backs that are still free agents, besides like Cook, you kind of have an option where he's going to go. But the other guys, you don't really know where they're going to go. There's a lot of options, and it might take a week or two, and they're signed by a team that's an injured running back and needs somebody.
Yeah, you hate to speculate on injury, but I mean something usually happens at some point to some running back in training camp. Hopefully, it's none of the players you just drafted, but it's part of the game. So,
yeah,
one of those guys like Hunt and Zeke, and there's one other player out there, I'm not going to name him, that a veteran that's unsigned that could end up signing with someone and getting a lot of the work. So it should be interesting. Someone thinks Zeke will go to Cleveland because they refuse to use Chubb near the goal line. It's not bad speculation. They've talked about getting a veteran back in Cleveland as well. They don't really have much of a backup situation now. Jerome Ford's there.
Chubb, he's amazing. You should start him. He's one of the best running backs in football. I feel like they should almost use him more. Because you have to think, I know Kareem Hunt's good and all, but he was a little underused, Chubb, at some points. I feel like he needs to be used more in the offense, especially in the receiving work. He's not a bad pass catcher.
We're getting to the dart throw portion of the draft where people are just throwing darts at running backs. Kendra Miller, I like that with Bubbles Army in the 11th round. I think that's a good pick. Definitely has some potential there. I mean, you got Jamal Williams, who coming off a great season, but not really a sure thing. And then Alvin Kamara's legal issues. So I like that pick of Kendra Miller at that point. Juju Smith-Schuster just goes number 1 receiver at New England. He's been out there for a little bit. Again, depth piece, could end up being a good spot starter in the right matchup. So not a bad pick there. Logan, no one's followed your lead with the defense.
Yeah. It's fine.
Some of these drafters, to be quite honest with you, because we will run a waivers before the season starts, some of them might not take.
I believe it's on the 9th.
Yeah, some of them might not take a bigger defense. That happens sometimes.
See, the person in the chat gets a Kenneth Gainwell pick because Rashad Penny will be in the IR by week 2, and then Swift will get phased out of the offense again. So it'll be Kenneth Gainwell show.
You think Swift's going to fall out of favor quickly already?
No, I'm just saying that's usually how his story's gone so far.
That's a true statement.
I'm still really confused by what happened in Detroit because he has a lot of talent. They didn't use him.
Darnell Mooney just went. That's another guy that I've been getting a lot of shares of around this point of the draft because I just feel like the potential's there. He was going much higher last year. DJ Moore's there now, so people are worried about that. But definitely a much higher pick last year. There goes the Eagles defense. Another defense there, Logan.
There we go.
There you go. Eagles, a lot of Eagles being picked in this draft, rightfully so.
Well, they have one of the best rosters in football.
See, there's Jared Goff goes in round 13. So that was my
who I was trying to steal it from.
I was trying to debate Jared Goff with my pick instead of Daniel Jones, and I took that, 4 rounds previous. So I obviously made a mistake.
Bozzy gets his starter, which I'm sorry, I commented on that earlier, but Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers will come out hot trying to prove everybody wrong because they're doubting him. So he'll come out hot, and then Anthony Richardson will take over for him at some point, right? That's what he's thinking.
Probably.
All right, we got Raheem Mostert win. I mean, he could be starting that offense. So.
Yeah. He had a big game in the playoffs, which is a big thing that probably showed.
Geno Smith's the other one that I was debating. I really wish that I would have not taken Daniel Jones when I did. That was turned out to be a terrible pick on my part. I'll admit it.
It's okay. I'm gonna get over this.
It's not okay. Last year I just missed out on a playoff spot in this league. All right, my pick's up now. I'm going to follow Logan. I'm going defense. I usually don't go defense super early, but I actually think this defense could finish first overall. So they're still there, and I'm going to take them. Dallas Cowboys. I don't like the division, but, man, they're talented. Talented defense. A lot of pass rushers, guys that can intercept QB. So I'm going there. I mean, at this point, we have 3 picks left. I don't know if I'll probably take him.
Logan took him.
Oh, he did take Irv Smith.
I was going to take him.
Had to do it, Logan.
Had to.
All right. Jonathan Mingo, another rookie receiver goes. It's been a lot of fun, though. I was kind of hoping somebody would talk to us. No one's joined us, unfortunately.
Who would your number 1 defense be that's on the board?
On the board?
Or not on the board, but just overall.
Overall. I mean, it's between San Francisco and Dallas for me.
Oh, I just got sniped. That's great.
Yeah.
I like both of them. I like Dallas a lot. I mean, Philadelphia's up there too. I think you can make a case for all 3 of those. I mean, you got to look at what the scoring is. Like in this format, they don't score a whole lot. The differential between first and 10th is, 20-ish points on the entire season. So
yeah,
it's not a huge difference. So that's usually why I don't go too early. But again, know your rules. That's what comes down to in fantasy a lot. You have to know what is going on. Henry's up now. He's got 2 picks, and then he has 2 left. Took Michael Mayer. Or Meyer. Mayer. Sometimes they pronounce the AY,
Yeah.
Whatever. He has some potential.
I don't know what to do with the next one.
Chris Thompson points out both draft analyzers right now has Ballers ranked number 1 overall. Ballers, I mean, you got to like what he did, though. His first 3 picks really solid. Number 1 running back, number 1 receiver, number 1 tight end. I mean, it's a good start. I could see. And he's got Chig Okonkwo as a starting tight end as well. Can't argue with that. I don't want to know what my team says in the analyzer. We only have a couple picks left, 3 picks left. Any teams, Henry, you look at the board besides yourself.
Oh,
Who do you like?
That's tough. Then. Yeah, let me go back and look.
Here, I'll leave it up here. You can look. I'll take a look as well. And Logan's getting ready to pick. He can look after he's done picking. So Kirk Cousins goes in round 13 again.
That's who I wanted really badly.
There's 3 QBs that went in round 13 that I think can be top 10.
Yeah, I think for the team I like the most, I like Suncoast a lot there with CeeDee Lamb and Brown, 2 surefire number 1 wide receivers, and one's of these number 2. Then he has Hurts as a QB, which is phenomenal. And Akers and Etienne's a great duo. And have good people behind him too as well, like Elijah Mitchell. He still got a lot of work even when McCaffrey was there. And Devin Singletary's not terrible either, especially if Houston now will be behind Pierce, but still get a good amount of work probably.
I don't love his depth at running back. That's my only concern with Ralph's team. I like his starters a lot, though. Akers is the only question mark, in my opinion. If he ends up getting the lion's share of the carries there, I think you have to like Ralph's team a lot. I agree with that. I think Brad Petry's done a great job out of that 2-hole. I think his team looks really good. Justin Fields as his starting QB, 2 good running backs, and Dobbins and McCaffrey, Waddle and Smith, Dallas Goedert as well. I like that team a lot. I like Roger Bauer too. Oh, my pick's up too, and I'm rambling on here. Let's see what I want to do. So I'm just going to try to get some depth here at certain positions. I'm going to go ahead and take – he played well at times last year, and he should be the backup for the Chargers. I'm going to take Josh Kelly. I don't know. I'm just throwing darts. Why not?
I mean, if an injury happens.
Yeah. There was a report today that they still like shoot. No, I can't remember his name. What's the other back in Los Angeles, Henry? He didn't play very well last year.
Oh, what's his name? The guy went to Mizzou?
No.
Roundtree? No,
not Roundtree.
Michelle?
No. He was a higher draft pick. It was a Hilly. Why can't I? I'm totally blanking. Killing me. Spiller, that's it. Goodfellas bails me out again.
Yeah, figure it out.
So Spiller, there's a report on Spiller today that he they still like him a lot. So who knows? I don't know. Maybe he will end up being the backup instead of Josh Kelly, but I think Kelly's the guy because he played well at times last season, so I took him. Again, round 14, some of these guys are probably going to end up getting cut. We had our first kicker off the board. So Ballers had the number 1 rated team, and now he just got the number 1 kicker. He's just trying to solidify his spot in those rankings. That's all.
Mean nothing, though.
Right?
You can finish first in that, finish last in the rankings. Anything can happen.
Hey, we got Fozzie Dog here, so let's bring him up on the stream here. Jeremy, what's going on, man?
How we doing, guys?
How you doing? Doing well?
I'm doing
What do
well.
what do you think about your team? I mean, you went 3 receivers to start. You got some, not dart throws, but some questions at running back a little bit. But you feeling pretty good about your draft so far?
Yeah, overall, I might have waited a little too long in the quarterback position, so I wanted to see what Anthony Richardson might do. But like you guys said, I'm probably not starting. I want to wait to see what training camp and everything unfolds and see where he even comes up at. But so far, I like it enough.
Yeah, I really like your trio of receivers there to start. Chase Olave and Higgins. That's dynamic. Ridley as well. You only have 4 receivers, but you really can just wait at that point because you only start 2 and 1 flex. So, okay doing that and then loading up on running back. Was that kind of your strategy coming into it? Is that the way you wanted to approach the draft? Go receiver heavy first and then, attack that
I didn't really sit into this one with a plan. I just was waiting to see what kind of dropped down to me on this one. But as you are saying, I probably should grab another receiver, so we'll do that now.
All right. I wasn't trying to talk you into a pick. You took McCole Hardman there.
Pair with Rogers.
Yeah, pair with Rogers. There you go. You got your 2. Anything surprise you at all in this draft so far? Fozzie, I know you've done a lot of drafts. Anything stand out to you at all at this point?
A few spots where people took a couple guys later or earlier than I thought maybe go. The normal with the quarterbacks is normally what happens sometimes right about there. So none of that stands out different. First 3-4 rounds played out kind of how it normally goes. Some people fade a couple, some people go heavy on the others. So some people went full green, some people went full yellow. Then there's the mixers.
Yep.
When you get down later in the draft, it's interesting to see what people are favoring, what possible of those rookie wide R's that are coming out. You can get those in the later rounds, but which one of those preseason will still dictate that. So I don't know. Which ones are sticking out to you guys?
Yeah, it's a good. I wanted to ask you about, not to avoid your question, but I know you are big. You liked. It seems like you like the rookies a lot, and a lot of those rookie receivers are gone, and you unfortunately were not able to get one. And I think since you went receiver early, you didn't have to. But what rookie receiver do you like a lot this year, if you had to pick one?
All the reports aren't coming out on the receivers that I want to the camps yet. I think they're hiding kind of what their rookie receivers are going to do yet. So you're going to have to start to wait over the next month and really see them going more on the reports that come out, because they're not trying to let it out yet. But if I had to go with one so far, I would probably be going with Seattle's Jackson Smith.
Yeah.
He falls into it. It's kind of where they're all really good. It just depends on where they were falling this year, and some of them got some better space. But I mean, it's kind of hard to what Jordan Addison might do over there opposite over at Minnesota. Oh, Justin Jefferson, or it's kind of hard to tell if Quentin Johnson walks into some good stuff if Keenan Allen can't stay healthy or something. So a lot of good receivers got pushed into some different spots this year, but that does not mean that they're not going to be very valuable throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely. Logan, you got any questions for Fozzie there? You want to ask him anything?
How's your baseball leagues going? You're a former champ.
Yeah, he's a former champ. You're right.
The baseball one going so not as high as last year. We've started moving up in the last couple of weeks as some of the players that are coming around. Some of I went surprisingly a little rookie heavy with some baseball this year, and some of those guys are just now coming up. And
there you go.
So the team's getting hot now, and the injuries right now are staying off the baseball one. So they're fine. They're doing good. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah.
A lot of games.
What contests are you mainly entering right now? Are you going with Best Ball Championship? Are you going with the TFCs?
I've got a lot of TFCs so far. I've got a red and a blue RTFFC. I'll be getting in the Invitational again as last year.
Good.
The Invitational is always fun to get in. That proves how good you really are when you stack up against the top ones right there.
Yeah. Did you see we're doing a Kentucky Derby style with that this year?
Yeah, that's fun. That's a nice little new element to put in there. I'm glad you guys did that.
So
where would you want to pick?
Yeah, Fozzie, I wanted to ask you, I know you've done a lot of drafts and you've probably employed different strategies, but what's been your favorite roster build when you're doing these right now? Does anything stand out to you? Because I know you kind of start getting into patterns where you think you're going to do better than other drafts with different roster builds. Anything you like more than others?
Right now, at this time of year, I'm just spreading it around a little bit, grabbing. I mean, you always got your players you want. So when they come past you, it's almost hard not to grab them. But right now, before preseason starts, I'm just grabbing a little bit of everything right now. I don't really have any overall favorites yet.
Do you have any favorite times of the year to draft? Anything you think is more advantageous as a fantasy player? Do you like to draft closer to the season, farther out?
I will draft all year long. Seems that most of the winners come not early, though. You think that you might get a lot of extra value there, which you can get, but at the same time, you're just waiting all season, hoping nobody goes down. So, and then usually somebody does. So your team's not as strong as it once was, or somebody that you thought was starting isn't the starter. So it goes both ways. I think somebody last year won a little bit earlier than the previous seasons. Is that when Brad when he did his?
That's correct. He was a little earlier. You are right, but you're right. It's kind of all over the map. But it does seem that some people think there's an advantage because you could get some real steals if you do it earlier. But
don't
I
think
think
there's
it
an
evens
advantage.
out in the end.
I like to do it all throughout the year, so some of the difference will go up and down. But I think you can win at any time of the year.
Definitely. Well, Fozzie, thanks so much for coming on, joining us. I appreciate it. You're the only one to come on here, but it's always great talking with you, and we appreciate you coming on. Really appreciate it.
I'm enjoying the draft. Keep up the good work, you guys. I'll see you guys back in the Discord lobby at RT Sports.
Sounds good. Take
See you,
care.
Fozzie.
See you guys.
Yeah. All right. Always great to hear from Fozzie. He's always very knowledgeable. So we all just finished our drafts. Let's quickly, before we get out of here, talk about our teams real quick. Logan, you go first. You happy with how it turned out?
Yeah, I think overall I'm happy with it. I got top wide receiver and Cup, and then I waited a little bit. I filled out the rest of my roster and then went with, let's see, in round 7 through 11, I picked up 4 more wide receivers in that area. Overall, I'm happy with it. There's some players I'm not in love with, but they just fell to me, so I ended up taking them. Like Kenneth Walker, I'm not in love with him, and I'm not in love with Javonte Williams either. But I think their value was just too good to pass up there, so went with him.
Henry, I got to ask you, what do you feel about your team?
I mean, I like it overall. I like that I got a number 1 receiver and running back. I feel like they're both going to be great number 1s. The only thing I worry about is a little bit of my running back depth. I could have gone a little earlier. I kind of went receiver heavy after a little bit. But I could have done a little better there. But in that category, besides that, I really like the team.
When you take a tight end early like you did, it kind of pushed down the rest of the positions too.
I felt like he was there. It was hard to pass up on with it, kind of getting a little thin. And I like Kittle a lot this year. Purdy targeted him a ton when he was a quarterback. He had a lot of red zone targets. I think when he's starting, Kittle get a lot of work, especially if he's healthy.
You went C.J. Stroud too as your backup QB.
Yes, I was also looking at matchups that week too, and I was like, Stroud's just rookies. They can have big years, whatever. And he's in a decent spot. I feel like he's really smart on the football field. He has a lot of decisions he can make, decent options to throw to. And that week he was also playing, I want to say it was the Cardinals. The week I need him mostly against Tua, but I really like Stroud a lot. He's probably the second best option besides Richardson, in my opinion.
When it comes to rookies.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk about my team quickly, and then I'll let everybody go. I got Jacobs, Wilson, Sanders, Samuel, Connor, Kirk. So I like my start. I think I have 3 solid running backs, 3 solid receivers. Prescott's fine. I regret my Jones pick. I think I went way too early on a backup QB, considering Goff, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins all went around 13. I took Jones in round 9. Don't like that at all. Tight end, I'm happy with Kincaid and Higbee. I think they'll be a good platoon option. I like my defense with the Cowboys, kicker, and Butker as well. So I think my starters are going to be good. I'm not sure I'm in the top of the top when it comes to this league. A lot of great drafters out there. Did we do the let's look at the Fantasy Pros Analyzer. Always exciting to do. Let's see where we all ranked before we get out of here. Logan, have you looked at it already?
I did a couple rounds ago.
Gotcha.
Let me refresh.
Coming up, it's probably going to make everything lag on my computer.
I'll get it pulled up here. It's okay. So it looks like Suncoast is number 1 right now.
Suncoast moved up to number 1. There you go.
And we got Bubbles and Goodfellas, Fozzie's, Ballers 5, Always Bet 6, Henry 7, Jeff 8. I'm number 9. We got Malins at 10, Krusty at 11, and Crunchy at 12.
There you go. Was that the Fantasy Alarm one or the?
That was the Fantasy Alarm one.
Gotcha.
And that just goes based off of projected points. So
yep. It's always fun to look at.
Yeah, if you have a couple of quarterbacks in your team's roster, that's going to improve your projected points.
Yeah, definitely. It's always fun though. Well, I think overall it's a good draft for everybody here. Let me close this out because my computer's lagging again. Apologize to everybody out there. All right, Logan. Good stuff. Appreciate you joining me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. That was fun. Thanks for everyone for coming to the draft, and should be a good year. For everyone watching this is a great tool to use on your drafts. A lot of top players in this league. Great ADP tool. Bring it up, especially in your home leagues.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to this will be posted on our YouTube channel as well, so everybody can watch it back if they'd like. So a lot of fun. Again, appreciate everybody on here. Good banter in the chat. Good banter in the lobby of the room as well. The draft room, I should say. And also, I forgot, the main reason I do this is we provide content in our draft guide. So we will have write-ups from every one of these owners. I'll ask them a couple questions about their team, get their thoughts. So keep an eye on that in the draft guide as well. That's totally free. It's actually freedraftguide.com. We have a app as well for it. So I'm really proud of that. A lot of content in there. So you can look at the analysis of this draft in there as well. So once again, thanks a lot to everybody for watching. Henry, thanks for joining me. Really
no
appreciate
problem.
it. Good job in the draft. Logan, good job to you too. Good luck
Thanks, you too.
this season. Appreciate it, everybody. Good luck in all your leagues. Thanks to everybody in the Champs League as well. And we'll be seeing you down the road here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. Thanks again.